correctly, am I not?
Yes, you are.
Good, thank you. Defense may continue with their direct examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Crescentini.
Good morning.
And I'm saying your name correctly,
Yes,
correct?
you are.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Ms. Crescentini, we left off yesterday speaking about some conversations, or we were beginning to speak about some conversations you had in May of 2017 with Marco Laurenti and Mirella Sementilli. But before we get to that, after your brother-in-law Fabio was murdered in January of 2017, did you observe the relationship that Monica continued to have with Fabio Sementilli's family, specifically his sister Mirella and her common-law husband Marco?
Objection, relevance.
Hello.
Yes, they were very friendly with each other. They were very supportive of Monica.
Did Monica fly up to Canada on multiple occasions after Fabio was killed and visit with Fabio's family?
Yes, she did.
Did there come a time, Ms. Crescentini, that you observed did there ever come a time where in your presence you heard or observed Monica express to detectives in the case, namely Detective Parshall, frustration about trying to match the DNA that they had recovered at the scene to find the killers of Fabio Sementilli?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I remember her telling me that the police kept telling her they had all these DNA samples. And it's going to.
It's overruled.
It's going to take a long time for them to test all the samples, and she was very frustrated. She wanted to know, she wanted to have a break in the case. She wanted to know who did this.
Did there come a time where you were involved in conversations initiated by Monica about hiring a private investigator or offering a reward to find Fabio's killer?
Yes.
And what were those conversations?
Monica had said that she wanted to put up a reward. I said that's a great idea. Marco was also willing to contribute some. And then the police said that this was not a good time, that LA County would eventually put up a reward. So just to wait.
Did you personally have conversations initiated by Monica about hiring a private investigator to also investigate Fabio's murder and find who killed him?
Yes, she has asked me if she thought that I thought that was a good idea, and I said yes.
Did there come a time, Ms. Crescentini, in May of 2017 where Mirella Sementilli's husband, Marco, or common-law husband, Marco, contacted you personally to ask if it would be okay to contact Monica about something?
Yes.
Could you tell us what Marco contacted you about?
He called me and to ask me, he said he had a friend who was a lawyer and they were talking about how Monica and the girls had not received their insurance payout yet. They were very concerned, as we all were, because it was May and June, the company would have stopped paying Fabio. So he said his lawyer friend was willing to draft a letter to the insurance company to sort of push them along and get this done. And he wanted to ask me if I thought that was a good idea and if he should send it to Monica. And I said yes.
He asked you if you thought it was okay to suggest it to Monica?
Correct.
Now, at this time in May, you were aware that Monica had taken 2 trips in that past 4 months since Fabio had been killed to Las Vegas. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you were aware at the time she went to Las Vegas in March and again in May that she was taking those trips?
I don't remember the March one, maybe, but the May one I remember for sure because it was Cinco de Mayo and she told me she was going with her friend Sheila and her husband.
So she told you that she was going with friends, specifically Sheila and her husband, and were you aware that she'd also taken another trip to Las Vegas previously?
Yes, I was aware, but I can't remember now what month that was in.
Understood. And then she also told you that she was going to take a trip alone to Myrtle Beach. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And in none of these 3 trips, she ever told you that she was going to Las Vegas or Myrtle Beach with Rob Baker, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And in May, mid-May, let's say, of 2017, you had no idea that your sister was having an affair with Rob Baker, correct?
I had no idea.
Did there come a time, Ms. Crescentini, in May during the Myrtle Beach trip that you learned that Monica was having an affair?
No, not when she was there, no.
Okay. Did there come a time around that trip that you became suspicious and tried to look at some emails belonging to Monica about why she was in Myrtle Beach?
That was after she came back.
Okay.
But while she was there, I began to suspect that she wasn't alone. I assumed that she was with some racquetball friends.
Okay. Why did you begin to suspect that?
I don't know, just through our conversations on the phone and the way she was answering me, I just thought that she was there with somebody else. And I said, you know, you can tell me if you went there with another friend, I won't be offended. Just tell me. And she said, no, I'm here alone. You're being ridiculous.
And then at some point after she returned, did you investigate through Monica's emails information that you might be able to uncover about what her reason for going to Myrtle Beach was?
I don't know as to the reason. The reason she told me and everyone else was because that's where Fabio wanted to go. But yes, I did go onto her email because I had all her passwords saved on my computer from when the last time she came over and checked her emails. And so I did look, but I wasn't the one looking. It was my husband, Grant.
Okay. And you said you had her password saved. Did Monica stay with you on occasion when she came up to Canada?
She always stayed at my mom's house, but we spent the days together. So she would come over in the morning and we'd spend the whole day together, have dinner together, and then she'd go and sleep at my mom's. So whenever she had to check email, she would use my computer.
And you were aware that she had her passwords for her emails stored on the computer?
Yes.
And were you present when Marco accessed the emails and reviewed the emails, or did you review the emails?
Not
Objection
Marco.
assumes facts not in evidence.
Sustained.
You were not present.
Objection, same objection.
Sustained.
Did you learn that Marco had reviewed emails on your computer of Monica's?
That Marco did?
I'm sorry, that your husband did.
My husband, Grant, yes.
Grant did,
Yes.
And what did you learn?
He found what seemed to be like a note or a letter addressed to another couple saying, hi, saw your picture, would be interested in meeting. And it was signed Madonna and Rob.
And at that time, did you believe that your sister and Rob Baker were communicating with couples about having some kind of contact or relationships?
When I first saw the email, no, I didn't know what it meant. I was upset. Couldn't figure out who Madonna was, what was this doing on her computer. I had no idea.
What did you as a result, if anything?
I called Deborah after a few days. I called Deborah and to ask her.
Let me ask you, is that Deborah Obad?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you ask Deborah Obad?
I asked Deborah if she thought my sister was having an affair, and she said yes.
At some point, Ms. Crescentini, did you ask Monica about whether she was having an affair?
Yes.
Was this when she came up to Canada in early June, shortly before her arrest?
Correct.
And did Monica ever deny to you that she was having an affair?
When I confronted her, she never denied or accepted or admitted anything. She just was in shock and just kept saying, I can't believe this, I can't believe this.
And did you ever pursue the conversation after that with Monica?
We tried. I had to go to work the next day, so I told her that I would come straight after work to my mom's house and we would talk about this more. And I was going to come right after school. She didn't answer. She was upstairs in her room. I think she was packing. She wanted to come back to LA as soon as possible.
Was it shortly after that, Ms. Crescentini, that Monica was arrested with Robert Baker and accused by the police of being involved in Fabio's killing?
Yes.
Did you later learn that Monica had indeed been having an affair with Robert Baker before and after Fabio had been murdered?
After they were arrested, yes, it was confirmed.
And did you also learn after Robert Baker and Monica was arrested that Robert Baker's DNA had been found and directly implicated Robert Baker as having killed your brother-in-law
What was the time frame?
after the arrest?
It was a long time after the arrest.
Ms. Crescentini, if you believed that your sister Monica was in any way involved in the planning or murder of your brother-in-law, Fabio, would you continue to support her and testify at her trial falsely?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Ms. Crescentini, has everything you've told us in your testimony this week honest and true?
It is honest and true.
Thank you. No further questions.
Ms. Thager, you may cross.
Good morning, Ms. Crescentini.
Good morning.
Good morning. When you first met Fabio, you testified yesterday that Monica was working next door to him, and that was in a shop in Canada, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then they began dating, and you met him as a boyfriend at a later date, right?
Yes, a much later date, yeah.
Okay. And you testified yesterday that when you met Fabio and they announced that they were dating, that he was divorcing his wife. So he wasn't divorced yet.
My understanding was he was separated and going through a divorce.
Okay,
That's
when you-
what I remember.
That's what Monica told you?
That's what Monica and Fabio both told me.
Okay. So Monica was the reason that Fabio was getting a divorce, that right?
I asked
Sustained.
Well, what did Fabio and Monica tell you?
him, and he said, no, I'm separated from my wife. We started dating afterwards.
Okay. Were you close to Fabio then?
At that time?
No, through your time knowing him, did you become close
Yes,
to Fabio?
very close to Fabio.
Okay. Did you love him like a brother? You testified.
I loved him like a brother, yes.
Would you say that everybody loved Fabio?
Yes,
Was he the life of the party?
he was.
Was he full of life, charismatic, those kind of things?
Absolutely.
But yesterday, when you were first testifying, you didn't state any of those adjectives, correct?
Objection. Ms. states the evidence.
It's overruled.
Do I answer?
You can answer.
I don't remember being asked about his personality, or I
Well-
would have said that.
Didn't you testify right when you started testifying at the very beginning? One of the first things you told this jury was that he was jealous, and then you went into stories about him getting you kicked out of bars and restaurants and a cigar story, right?
Correct.
Ms. states the evidence.
Overruled.
So that's how you described Fabio when you were first asked. Is there a reason for that?
When I first met him, that's how he was.
Well, that's not what you said, though, right?
I don't understand.
When you described Fabio yesterday, what you described to this jealous man who got you and your husband kicked out of bars for men talking to Monica. That was the description that you gave of Fabio yesterday, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
Oh.
And Ms. states the evidence.
Overruled in both.
I answer?
Did you say that?
Yes, I did say that.
Is there a reason why that's what you chose to say to the jury?
There is no reason.
I mean, surely you're not implying that Fabio deserved to get killed because he was jealous, right?
Objection argumentative.
Sustained.
Now, you mentioned the state of their relationship. You were asked about the state of their relationship, Fabio and Monica, the time that you knew them. And you stated that they were very happy, they had a great marriage. That's what you observed, right?
That's correct.
Would you consider somebody who had been having an affair on their husband for over a year a great marriage?
Would I consider that?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so do you still think they had a great marriage?
I still think it's very complicated.
It's complicated.
Yes.
In a great marriage kind of way?
Objection argumentative.
Sustained.
Do you consider them to have a great marriage now?
I still,
Irrelevant.
It's overruled.
I still think they had a great marriage.
Okay.
Yes. It is possible to love someone and cheat on them at the same time. It
Okay.
happens all the time.
All right, so that was a great marriage. Okay. Now, you used two examples of their great marriage and them being very happy. And the two examples that you used and told the court and the jury were they were dancing in the kitchen and singing songs. That's what you observed, right?
Yes.
Have you been watching this trial online?
I have not.
Have you been talking to your niece Jessica about videos that she presented to the jury?
I have not talked to Jessica about her testimony at all.
Have you talked to the defense attorney about what's been presented in court?
No.
Are you aware that 2 videos are presented to the court? One was Fabio and Monica dancing in the kitchen, and the other one was Fabio and Monica singing songs. Were you aware that that
I was
what
not aware.
already presented to the jury?
I was not aware.
So was that a coincidence that that was those 2 examples that you came up with? Can I finish my sentence?
I'll hear the question. Take your objection
Was-
under submission.
My question was, so was that a coincidence that those 2 examples that you gave happened to be the 2 items that were presented to the court by other witnesses during this trial before you?
Sustained.
When is the last time that you spoke about this case and your testimony with the defense team?
The last time I spoke to the defense team,
About this case and your testimony, all inclusive.
a couple of days before I thought I was taking the stand.
Okay, what did you talk about?
How it was going to be on the stand, where I would sit. They told me to review my statement that I sent in, the 4 pages handwritten. I did that. That's what we talked about.
So you interviewed with the defense then on November 16th, 2017. That was 4 or 5 months after your sister was arrested. Is that correct?
I don't remember, but I'm sure.
Would you like to see a report?
Sure.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So November 17th, 2017, who did you interview with from the defense team?
I know I spoke with Adam Dawson, and I spoke with Leonard Levine.
Okay, well, this was in person at the Sementilli house, correct?
Yes.
All right, so who came to the house?
Both people came on different times.
Well, on
Separately.
this time, November 7th of 2017, who did you talk to?
Again, it was either Adam or Leonard. I don't remember. Is it written on the paper? I didn't see that part.
Well, would you like to look at the paper?
Yes, thanks. With Adam Dawson.
Okay, so that's the investigator for the attorneys on the case.
Correct.
All right. So when you met with him, then you gave him a statement, but that statement was solely focused on, well, let's see here. There was 16 items listed. You saw that, right?
Is there a back? I didn't see the back.
Have you reviewed this document at any point?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Would you like to review it again?
Yes, please. Thank you. I read the first part. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So when you interviewed with Adam Dawson, the investigator for the defense attorney, he took notes while you talked to him, right?
Yes.
He didn't record the conversation that you know of.
Not that I'm aware.
Were you ever given a transcript of the interview in its entirety, what you talked about?
No.
So were you given this sheet of paper, then the summary of the interview?
Yes.
All right, and everything appeared,
Argumentative that it's a summary.
Overruled.
well, it's a summary, right? It's numbered 1 through 16. It's not direct quotes, right?
Correct.
Okay. So out of those 16 items, then, you went through all those. And during those, the main focus was about Marco.
Correct.
And what you testified to, that he was helping draft a letter for insurance and that, of that nature. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. The time frame that you talked about of December Well, let me back up there. You interviewed again with the defense. You didn't have another interview then until March of 2024, 7 years later, right?
Correct.
Okay. So between that time frame, you never spoke to the defense?
I spoke to the defense all the time.
Oh, okay. Was anything documented or?
Not about this case, though, about other things.
Okay. Were you part of hiring the defense team?
Yes.
So December through January, December 2016 through January of 2000 timeframe, when you came to Los Angeles, you talked yesterday about, and today a little bit about, you came, I think it was during Christmas, your Boxing Day. Was that December 27th through January 7th? Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right.
And you were with Monica, you testified the entire time.
Yes.
And you were with her from when you got up until you went to sleep.
Correct.
She was never gone from your presence.
Not that I recall.
Roll.
Now, during that time frame, you didn't know she was having an affair, as you testified to.
Correct.
Did you ever see her on her phone?
Yes.
Did you know that she had an encrypted app, Viber, and was sending hundreds and hundreds of communications to her lover while you were there?
I had no idea.
She never told you that.
She never told me.
Do you have Viber?
I do not have Viber.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
So your communication then with the defendant, most of your communication was through regular texting. Is that accurate?
Yes, regular texting, WhatsApp, and phone calls.
Okay, well, are you aware that Monica didn't install WhatsApp until January 27th of 2017?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay, so your communication on WhatsApp would have to have been after that date. Is that?
Argumentative.
Sustained as formed.
Are you testifying that you communicated with Monica on WhatsApp before Fabio's murder?
I don't remember when I put it on my phone or when she had it on her phone, but we used it.
Okay, well, yesterday you testified that you were texting her on WhatsApp. So just to confirm then, you weren't texting with her on WhatsApp before the murder?
Well, if you tell me she didn't have it on her phone, then I was mistaken. But
Okay,
we
fair
did
enough.
after.
All right. Now, during that January time frame, December to January, you're with her the whole time. And I have page 272. It is an 18-page document of text messages between Ms. Crescentini and Monica Sementilli. If I may mark that, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
That's 272.
Very good.
Okay. Showing you the first page then, that's you on 12/27.
I'm sorry, Counsel. Yes, 272.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
That's you on 12/27. You're flying in, and that's when you're arriving in Los Angeles. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, you're there till January 7th, right?
6th or 7th, I can't remember. Had to be back at work on the Monday.
So on January 3rd, I blocked out your number. You're texting her around 4:20. Where are you? Right?
Yes, that's what it says.
So you weren't with her this second, right?
Not at that second,
All
apparently.
right. Well, then we get down to, go from 4:22, now we're down to 9:06 at night. Hello? Vino's calling. You don't know where she is now, right?
No, she could have been inside, and I was on the patio, and I just texted her to come out. I don't recall this, but
Okay, so
that's a
between-
possibility.
Sure. Between 4:22 and 9:06, you don't have a response and you're looking for her. So you don't know where she is.
She might have been in the house again.
Or she might have been out with her boyfriend.
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained.
She
You know
never
where
left.
She was.
She never. I don't remember her ever leaving.
Okay.
So-
And then, again, on January 6th, this is page 2, January 6th, 11 o'clock at night, come out my last night. Do you know where she was?
Inside?
Is that what you remember?
Yes.
Okay. So you aren't with her for a second.
We were in the house together. She wasn't stuck to my hip.
Well, to be fair, yesterday you said I was with her every second.
She was with me all the time. We were in the same house. I mean, I didn't go with her to the bathroom either.
All right, so on March 4th, then, you had another interview, and this is 2024, with the defense team again, and that was 7 years later, which I kind of alluded to earlier, right? 7 years after the murder.
Yes.
And you were called by the defense team when you lived in Canada. Do you remember that? You got a phone call.
Yes.
Who was it that called you?
I believe it was Leonard.
Do you know for sure?
It could have been Adam.
The investigator?
Yes.
So you don't remember the specifics of this call?
I'm not sure which call you're referring to. Like,
Well-
I remember talking to somebody about my statement, then it was Adam.
It was Adam. So on March 4th, 2024, you spoke with Adam Dawson, the investigator, on the phone while you were in Canada about the facts of this case.
Correct.
All right. And then again, do you know if that call was recorded?
I have no idea.
Did you ever see a transcript of that, of everything that you communicated with Mr. Dawson regarding the facts of this case?
A transcript? No.
Did you receive the report then that is item numbers 1 through 14?
Yes.
Okay. You did. Were you able to review that?
Yes.
And everything in there was accurate?
Yes.
Now, in that report, and what you testified to was that your usual routine was to call your sister between 4:30 and 5 East Coast time and talk to her while you're having wine.
Correct.
All right. Minor detail, but in court you said 5:30, so time frame of, you said 4:30 to 5, now it's 5:30, but still in the general time frame, right?
That's right. When
All
I
right.
got home from work. Whenever I
Okay.
got home from work.
When you talked to her then, since she didn't have WhatsApp, how did you talk to her? On her cell?
Objection misstates the evidence.
Overruled.
Calls for speculation.
How did you talk to her?
I either called her house line or I called her cell phone.
Okay. And when you communicated her, what did you communicate with her most of the time?
Like, which line did I use?
Yes.
I don't know. I would try both. I'd try the house and then I'd call her. Usually it's her cell, I would say.
Okay. Now, I have a two-page AT&T document, if I may mark this as People's 273.
Yes.
It's cell phone records for the defendant. Let me just black out. Well, I'm not going to publish this, because I don't want to publish a number. There's too many. May I first?
First. It is marked 273.
All right, your number's not blacked out, but can you review the number right here that's highlighted, line item 4 and 5? Is that your phone number?
4 and 5?
Yes.
These two numbers?
Well, not that
Oh,
one.
these ones?
Yes.
Yes, that's my number.
Okay. So on the day of the murder, then you can see here, this is converted for UTC. So really, the phone call on the day of the murder, which would be 1:23, the only phone call that shows here is a call at 6:08 p.m. your time. Right here, because it's converted to UTC, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, there's no calls earlier in the day when you talked about it 2:30, 3:30 on the day of the murder.
Yeah.
Objection date is to win, and
I just said the day of the murder.
It's overruled.
I might have called the house line then.
Okay,
I'm not
you don't
sure.
remember.
I don't remember.
But it
which number
definitely
I
isn't
called.
in your cell phone records for the defendant. You just saw that you had any conversation with her the day of the murder on her cell phone.
Didn't it say the day of the murder that I called? At
At
6:08?
6:08 p.m.
Right, which in,
Nothing earlier at 2:30 as you testified to on this record.
I called her when I got home from work. I know this for sure.
Okay. So, again, you talked about you're very close to your sister. You talked to her. Is it fair you talked to her almost every day? You said sometimes 2-3 times a day. Is that right?
Yes, usually we talked every day. There were days when I didn't speak to her because we were going out or I stayed late at work. But mostly every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, yes.
And then before she moved and you lived with her in Canada, you hung out with her, you testified practically every day. You were very close.
Yes.
Would you consider her your best friend?
Yes.
Very close, you love her, you trust her?
I love her. I trust her. One of my closest friends. Yes.
Did you talk about everything?
I did.
Okay. Obviously, you know you didn't know about the affair this entire time, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, the wake on June 29th that we referred to, or counsel referred to yesterday, you hear about this awful murder. It was a terrible experience. You flew out. You were comforting Monica. You testified yesterday that when you got there, she was holding this sweater, and there was a hole in it, some version of that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, now, and you also testified that she stayed, your statement was she stayed with that sweater until the wake. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, did she then let go of the sweater when Rob Baker arrived at the wake?
Objection, argumentative.
Still rule.
She didn't have it the night of the wake,
Well, she
but all
stayed
the
with
days leading up to the wake.
Okay, so she stayed with the sweater until the wake.
Yes.
When Rob Baker was there, was she holding the sweater then?
No, she wasn't holding the sweater when anyone came
Okay.
that night.
Now, you thought when Rob Baker got there that it was, you noticed him. It was weird, right?
I noticed him. It was weird
And why was it weird to you?
because I knew him as a racquetball coach when I met him, and I thought it was weird that a racquetball coach would be hugging her and consoling her like that.
And it became a thing where everyone was talking about it. Well, when I say everyone, Morella was talking about it, Deborah was talking about it, your mom was upset, everyone that you were close to was upset about this guy, Rob Baker, being there.
I remember Deborah being very upset, coming in and saying, I don't like that guy, telling my mom, I don't like that guy, he shouldn't be here, what's he doing here? And she kind of riled up everybody, including myself and Morella.
Okay, so Deborah riled up everybody.
Yes.
Your mom, though, was upset that he was there.
After Deborah spoke to her, yes.
And your mom had met him before
Yes.
at a lunch.
A lunch or a dinner, an afternoon.
And your mom was so upset that she told him to fuck off.
I never heard that, and that is very unlike my mother.
Right. It's unlike her. She wouldn't say that unless she's very upset, right?
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained.
She would never say that.
Sorry, there's no question.
Oh,
So after Rob was directed to leave then, you guys talked about how strange that was Rob was there, right?
who's we?
You, Monica, Morella, Deborah.
Me, Deborah, and Morella talked about
Okay.
it.
And did you ask Monica about it?
No,
Why not?
I just didn't.
Well, it was suspicious. It was strange. You saw them whispering. You never asked your sister, like, hey, what's going on?
No, I told her, okay, everybody's outside. Come make your way outside. And she did. She followed me. She sat on the couch, on
Did
the
she
patio
tell you?
couch.
I'm sorry. Did she tell you that night that's the man that I've been having an affair with?
No.
Okay, so that night then a neighbor came over and brought a DVD. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that DVD was of I think the term was the robbers. Is that right?
The DVD was, yes.
Well,
I
at
don't
this
know
point-
what term he used to describe it to me. He said, this is the surveillance. You can see two people on it. These, yeah, he might have said these are the robbers. I don't remember his exact words.
Okay. And this DVD then, the neighbor came over and said they had a copy of a DVD showing two people jogging up the street, right?
Yes.
And you knew that it's believed to be the two men that broke in the house and killed your brother-in-law.
I
didn't know it was two men. I knew it was burglars. That's
Okay.
what I was told. Burglars.
Eventually you watched it.
Yes, we watched it.
So at the first point you didn't know, but you knew it included possibly the people who killed your brother-in-law.
Yes.
So what did you do with the DVD?
I gave it to my mom, and I told her, put this away and we'll watch it tomorrow.
You didn't want to watch it right away.
No.
And then did
It
you
was
tell-
the night of the wake. We had people there. That's why we did
I
it.
understand. Did you tell Monica that you had it?
I told her the next day.
But you understand that the police already had this, right?
Yes, the neighbor told me that.
Okay, so this was just an extra copy for you to look at.
Correct.
And then the next day, did you tell Monica, hey, we have the video that shows the two people possibly that broke into the house and killed Fabio?
I believe what I did was I gave it to her nephews, Anthony and Daniel, and I asked them to view it while my sister and I believe Marco or Ernie, somebody, we went to go pick up the Porsche from Impound.
So you gave it to somebody else to view?
Yes.
Right, okay. And at some point, Monica came home and you told her that you had this video from the neighbor, and this is the next day, so we're talking about January 30th at this point. You told her that you had this video for her to view.
I had this video and I gave it to the boys to watch, and if she wanted to see it.
And was she upset with you?
She was upset that I didn't tell her right away, that I didn't show her right away.
Did she view it?
Yes.
And after she viewed it, did she come out and say, oh my gosh, I recognize that guy running up the street because I've been having an affair with him for the last year, and I can recognize his body type and how he moves?
It's overruled.
Did she tell you that?
No, absolutely not.
Did she say anything about
No.
recognizing the man that she'd been involved with for over a year on video?
No.
February 2nd through 4th, then, you flew back to Canada for the funeral. Did Monica go with you?
Yes.
And you said that Monica stayed at her mom's house, right?
Correct.
All right. And that's in Woodbridge?
Yes.
All right. Is that where she always stayed?
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, one last question. The night of the wake, did Monica tell you that when Rob Baker was there, he gave her a burner phone?
No.
Do you know what a burner phone is?
I watch TV, so yes.
Okay. She never said anything about getting a burner phone that night.
No.
All right. February 2nd through 4th, then, when you flew back, that was the viewing at the funeral home for Fabio, and then eventually his cremation. Is that correct?
Yes.
So on Friday and Saturday, which is February 3rd and 4th, there was a viewing at a funeral home. Did you guys all go to that?
Yes.
And then Sunday the 6th was the mass, a reception, and a cremation. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So if you could just describe Monica's demeanor during this time, does she appear that she's affected at all by this?
Of course, she was very sad, devastated, quiet. At times I had to lead her. She wanted me to sit beside her. She wanted to... There were so many people coming those 3 days. Fabio was a very popular person. A lot of people came, and she cried. She laughed with some people when they told her stories about Fab, memories, just like Morella did, just like I did. She was heartbroken.
And then I believe it was, you mentioned, you wrote out a statement trying to memorialize your memories from that day, right, at some point, and gave it to the defense attorneys?
My handwritten.
Yes.
Yes.
When did you write that, by the way?
Oh. I was still at that house on Queen Victoria, so I was still in Monica's house. So it must have been before we sold it, which was in February of 2018. So maybe January, maybe December 2017.
January of 2017?
Or after.
Sorry.
Yeah, 18.
2018.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. You wrote out the best that you could remember memories from the day of the murder, the day after
I was
the
not
murder.
told to write memories.
I'm sorry?
I was not told to write memories.
Well, what did you write?
I was told to write down an account of what happened that day, like who was there, what did you do, where did you go, and that's what I did.
And the defense told you to do that?
Yes.
Okay. So on February, that funeral in Canada, February 3rd, 4th, 5th, then you wrote down that Monica was feeling ill and emotional, and so you took her home early. Do you remember taking her home early?
Yes, from the reception.
From the reception. She was drained physically, she was emotionally drained and physically exhausted.
Correct.
Is that fair? Okay.
Yes.
And you stayed with her until your parents got home because you were worried about her.
Yes.
Did you know that those 3 days, February 3rd, 4th, and 6th, that she was sending explicit, graphic, sexually explicit photos of herself naked to her boyfriend?
No, obviously I did not know.
And did you know that she was sending them from your parents' house?
I had no idea.
If I may approach to show some photos. This is February 3rd.
Of course, again, Councilman, you do not need permission.
February 3rd, if you want to take a look at those.
Do I look or wait? I don't need to see these.
Okay, so February 3rd, these are graphically explicit naked photos, and that's the day of Fabio's viewing, right?
I didn't see the date.
Well-
You tell me.
February 3rd is the viewing, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Is that your mom's bed then in that one photo that she's laying on naked and the photo that she sent?
It looks like.
That's your mom's bed?
I'm not sure whose bed that is.
Okay, well, that's in your mom's house with the dresser right there.
Can I see the dresser? Yes, that is, I recognize the dresser. It's in my mom's house.
Okay.
It's not my mom's bed.
And then on Saturday, again, the viewing. You want to take a look at those photographs? Okay, so that's pictures of her vagina.
Your Honor, may we approach?
February 4th, the viewing on Saturday, these pictures you reviewed it. Again, it's a picture of the defendant's vagina, blocked out, of course. A picture of her laying, showing her breasts. That's her wedding ring. You recognize your sister's wedding ring, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then a picture of her finger in her vagina, blocked out, right? Right? That's what you just saw?
Yes, that's what I saw.
Did you know that was, again, at your parents' house?
No, of course not. I didn't know any of this.
Okay. Then February 5th was the mass and the reception and Fabio's cremation. You want to take a look at those photos?
Do I have to?
Yeah, you do. You recognize those photos?
Your Honor, again, I would object. The witness has already testified she was not aware of
I've already ruled on this, counsel.
Thank you.
So you recognize that as the naked photo in the bathroom showing her vagina and her bare breasts. Is that your parents' bathroom?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's a photograph of her standing, taking a picture of her backside, naked in a mirror. Is that your parents' bathroom?
Yes.
Another photo in the shower, naked, showing her vagina and her breasts. Is that your parents' bathroom as well?
Yes.
And then there's a photo, naked breasts, pulling her pants down, showing her vagina. Do you recognize that room as your parents' house?
It looks like it, yes.
All right. And then lastly, laying on another bed with some sheets with blue flowers, showing her breasts and her pants pulled down. Is that your parents' house?
I don't recognize the sheets, Lauren, and there's not enough in the background for me to confirm.
All right. And again, that Sunday was the day that Fabio, there's a mass with a lot of people there, and she was distraught and crying and very upset, right?
Yes, she was.
And that was actually the day that her husband was cremated.
Yes.
Okay. Now, after, while she's in Canada, February 2nd through 4th, 2nd through 4th, that time frame, did she ever tell you then that she was having and had been having an affair with Robert Baker?
She,
Asked and answered, please.
Not by this prosecutor, it's overruled.
I answer. She never told me, ever.
So February 8th then, Monica flew home. She left Canada and she flew home. It was her anniversary with Fabio. You knew that, right?
Yes.
Did you know, and in your letter that you wrote, memorializing, you said that she left with the girls to go back home because she wanted to be alone with Fabio's things. She wanted time, right?
Yes.
She wanted time to grieve alone with the girls.
Correct.
Did you know that when she landed, she immediately went out with Baker, but didn't go home to grieve with her girls?
I did not know.
Did you know that her girls were texting her, asking her late at night when she was coming home?
I did not know.
Okay. Then you were worried about her, so on February 9th, which was the very next day after her anniversary, after she'd been out with Baker, you flew to Los Angeles because you were worried about her, right?
Yes.
And I think you wrote also again that you were worried that she was too depressed.
Yes.
So you got to LA on February 9th, and then 3 days later on the 12th, you went to dinner with Monica and the girls at Fabio's best friend's house, Ernie Valorano. Is that right?
I don't know if it was 3 days later, but yes, we did go to Ernie's house for dinner with the girls.
Within a few days, not holding you to the date, you went to Ernie's house for dinner.
Correct.
Did
Correct.
you ride there with Monica?
Yes.
Okay, so you went with Monica. Did the girls meet there?
Yes.
Now, after dinner, did Monica tell you that she was going out with her friend Sheila?
Yes.
And you told her you wanted to go with her.
Yes. I said, why can't I come?
She wouldn't let you go, right?
She said I wanted to be with my friends.
Did you know that she was actually meeting Robert Baker?
No.
Did you know that she stayed out until 12:59 a.m. with Robert Baker?
I knew she came home around 1.
And you were texting her, asking her about when she was going to come home, right?
I think I did.
Oops. What I already marked as People's 272. Okay, this is on 272. She texted you at 10:11 at night and said, "I'm 5 minutes from Ernie's karaoke." That's after she left Ernie's, right?
Yes.
So she went out and texted you, and this is after she told you you couldn't go.
Correct.
Now, when she told you you couldn't go, she left in her car, and you had to get a ride home with the girls, right?
Correct.
So you took the girls home.
Yes.
And then that same, turning into the early morning hours, you're asking her at 12:59, which is almost 1 in the morning, you on your way home.
Yes.
Were you worried where she was?
I was wondering why it was taking so long.
And she told you she was out with Sheila, right?
That's what she told me, yes.
Okay. Now, during this time, you started talking a lot more, I should say, to Deborah Obad. Is that right?
A lot more?
Well, you had known Deborah for years, right?
Yes.
So when you came to LA, that was one of Monica's first friends. So you got to know Deborah because if Monica's your closest friend, best friend, and that's one of her good friends, you knew Deborah.
Yes.
All right. So you and Deborah started talking, and you knew at this point that Deborah was very suspicious of Rob Baker. She was talking to you about that.
I don't remember her ever mentioning Rob Baker. I remember her making jokes about my sister. Oh, your sister, why is she all dressed up? I think she has a boyfriend, something like to that effect.
Well, didn't Deborah tell you that Deborah believed that your sister had been having an affair with Rob Baker, and you said my sister would never do that?
I don't remember her saying his name, but yes, I have no doubt that I said that.
So is it fair you believed your sister would never be cheating on Fabio before he was killed?
Correct. I would believe that she never would.
And during this time afterwards, you did not believe her to be having an affair with anybody, much less Rob Baker?
Correct.
Now, were you aware that Deborah was investigating a lot of your sister's activities on her own, such as calling the police, letting the police know things? Did you know all that?
Objection. Facts not in evidence.
Sustained.
Do you know if Deborah was calling the police at all?
Yes.
And she was?
Yes.
And what was she calling them about?
I know specifically that she told me she sent a picture of Rob to the police.
Okay.
And the picture was of the night at the wake.
Oh, with a cut on his finger.
Correct.
Now, did that concern you at all?
No.
Did you ever start having suspicions that Rob Baker could have been involved in the murder of Fabio?
Never.
Despite Deborah, did she talk about she thought Rob was involved?
She never told me that. She thought, I came to assume that she believed that Monica and Rob were having an affair at some point.
Why did you come to assume that?
Because she would make comments all the time, but I don't remember her ever saying Rob.
Did you ever ask Monica about what Deborah was saying?
Yes, I did.
And what did Monica tell you?
Specifically, I asked her, what kind of friend is that would be making jokes like this? Like, I get it, one time it's funny, but to continue on. And Monica said, she's just jealous because I'm working out and I lost a lot of weight and I look good. And you know, she thinks that everybody who works out and loses weight and looks good is cheating.
All right. So when you were visiting her then, and this is the night when you, this is the February 10th through the 19th, that time frame. And you went to dinner at Ernie's, and then she went out. Again, you testified that you were there from February 10th through the 19th. Does that sound right?
Yeah, around those days, yeah.
And yesterday you were testifying again that you were with her
All the
every
time.
minute. Same thing, pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing.
States the evidence.
Overruled.
All right, so February, and again, this is People's 272. At the top here, Anna, hi, are you okay? What is your ETA? And that's at 2:53, and she talks about how she's driving from Encino and traffic, right?
Yes.
And then Monica is asking if her daughter Bella's home, and you're saying she's not home, and now we're into the 4:12 time frame.
Correct?
Okay, so you weren't with her at this time.
No,
So you weren't with her every second.
not every second.
All right. And then when she went out, Ernie's, when she went out, she told you Sheila, but it was really Rob. You weren't with her then. Right?
That's correct.
All right. And then 2:13, the day after she went out, this is the following day, you're texting her about you're waiting to speak to a counselor, should be any minute, and are you done? You're having a whole conversation, and Monica's talking about still here. Are you with one of her daughters somewhere?
I believe that I was taking either maybe Isabella to see a counselor
Okay. For therapy?
or therapy.
Is Isabella the only one that you know that had therapy?
Yes. At
So-
that time, yes.
You're texting Monica, so you're not with her then.
No, clearly I drove Bella.
So you're taking her daughter to therapy.
Yes.
And then on, let's see, now let's jump to February 16th while you're still there. Again, you're texting with Monica. She's still here. Do you know where she was?
No.
All right.
What date was that?
2/16?
No, but I do remember her going back and forth to the dealership about Fab's F-150.
All right. And then you're texting her, you're making, by knitting, you're making eggs for her daughter, you're doing her laundry, you're watering her plants, and you're cleaning up the dishes, right?
Yes.
Okay, and there's multiple multiple texts where you go down, and it says, text me when you're on your way. So again, you weren't with her at this time either.
No, not around lunchtime, I guess.
And then on 2/19, that's when you flew home, is that correct? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, around that day, yeah.
So Monica's texting you in the morning then, did you, or I don't know, need to say morning, but she's texting you, did you land? And you said just walked into the door. Does that seem accurate then? Then 2/19 is when you went back to Canada.
Yes.
Okay. So to be fair, you weren't with her every second again on this other trip to Los Angeles.
No,
And you don't know what she was always doing or texting during those times.
I don't know what she was texting for sure.
Did you know that as soon as you left on February 19th, that day, that she immediately went out with Rob Baker to the Parlor Bar, which is a bar in Los Angeles, and then back to his apartment until 12:20 in the morning and got home at 2:20 in the morning?
I'm not aware.
Okay. Did you know that 2 days after that, on February 21, she was back out with Baker and went to the Parlor Bar again, and then the Dime Bar, and then that time she got home at 1:30 in the morning?
Still rule.
I'm not aware. I'm not aware of any of these things.
Did you know that 2 days after the 21st, on the 23rd, that she went out with Baker again and got home that time at 4:22 in the morning?
I'm not aware.
Did you know that 2 days after that date, on February 25th, that she went to Baker's apartment and got home at 3:14 in the morning?
Still rule.
I am not aware.
Were you aware that during all those times when she's out until 2, 3, 4 in the morning, your nieces are texting her, asking her when she's coming home because they're home alone?
I was not aware.
You referenced earlier that you felt safe in the house because Detective Parshall, told you it's fine, it's safe, because they're knock-knock burglars and they won't come back, right? That's why you're saying you felt safe.
Yes.
So you know that Parshall is deceased and not here to testify, right?
Yes.
And Parshall didn't tell you, though, you don't need any surveillance equipment, don't get it fixed. He never said that.
No, he never said that.
He didn't say, you know what, don't lock your doors, don't take any precautions. He didn't say that.
Well,
Right.
of course I locked the doors and we took precautions. We changed the locks. We had the locks changed, all of that.
The security system, the cameras that secure the house, you're aware that those were not replaced and were not working from the day Fabio was murdered until the time of Monica's arrest.
Correct.
Did that concern you with the girls being in the house alone, knowing that a murder had occurred at that house, that those surveillance cameras were not fixed, a new DVR box, things of that nature?
I didn't seem too concerned because it didn't help the first time.
Well, that's because her boyfriend stole the DVR box, right?
I don't know.
Misstates the evidence and argumentative.
Sustained on the second ground.
Are you aware that Rob Baker took the DVR box after he murdered your brother-in-law?
I was aware that the DVD box, or whatever it's called, was missing.
Where was the DVR box?
It was in the garage.
Okay. How did you know that?
I saw it every time we went into the garage where they had their car.
Now, State Farm, then you are aware that State Farm, because you were involved in helping get reimbursement for the house, for what was stolen, broken, things of that nature.
Correct.
So you were involved in assisting Monica with that.
Yes.
And they gave money then to Monica to aid in making herself whole again, basically recoup what was lost, stolen, broken, things of that nature.
I know that they helped. I know that they did some stuff around the house. I'm not aware of any personal things I gave to Monica.
Well, when you say they did stuff around the house, they gave money and Monica did stuff around the house. She hired people.
Yes.
Okay, and that was repainting,
Yes.
that was getting new carpet,
Yes.
new drapes,
Yes.
but not a new security system.
I think that was on the list.
It was on whose list?
Her list of things to do.
Was it ever done?
No, because when I went, it wasn't done.
When the security system then, are you aware that your sister could access the security system that she had had from her phone?
Yes.
You knew that.
Yes.
So are you aware then that the police had been asking repeatedly when Parshall is talking to you and your sister, a key piece that Parshall wanted to know was that security system, because if you can find the security system or the iCloud, you can get a lot of information on who entered that house, right?
Sustained.
Okay. Did you understand that that security system needed to be recovered? The iCloud, the data.
Objection calls for separation.
Can you repeat the question?
All right, let
Sorry.
me rephrase it.
Yes.
Were you aware that Detective Parshall was asking for information on that security system? Because if the DVR box is gone, they don't know the brand, they don't know the make, the model, who installed it, they don't know anything. You knew that.
I did not know that. I did not know he was asking her for any kind of information.
Did she ever tell you that he was asking her over and over and over to give him some information or paperwork that related to the brand, make, model, company who installed it?
Objection mistakes the evidence and facts not evidence.
Overruled.
I don't remember. I don't remember that. I don't remember knowing about that. I know we all looked for if she had manuals for the DVD box in her garage, but I don't remember who requested it. I think it was just
Did you know that
tried to find information.
Did you know that your sister never provided the detectives any information that she had on that DVR system?
I was not aware.
Did you know that your sister had, with that remote access, involved a password that she actually had emails from the company regarding that DVR system and how to access it?
I'm not aware of that either.
Did you know that your sister is the one who actually met with the company who installed the DVR and the cameras?
I was not aware of that.
Did you know that your sister sent that information about the DVR and how to view it remotely to her boyfriend, Rob Baker, months before the murder?
I did not know that either.
Monica came back to Canada February 26th through March 3rd for that 1 month memorial. You remember that?
Yes.
Did she stay at your mom's again?
Yes.
And you had a memorial for Fabio.
Yes.
And how was she now that it's, a month and a half or so later, February 26th through March 3rd? What's her demeanor now?
Obviously very sad, very quiet, reserved. didn't want to go anywhere, didn't want to do anything. We convinced her to come out for dinner one night.
She flew home on March 3rd then. Does that sound right?
It sounds right. I don't remember the date, though.
Were her girls with her on the trip?
Yeah, I believe so.
On the March 3rd trip?
Yes.
Did you know that when she got home on March 3rd, she immediately went to a hotel with Rob Baker until 6:18 in the morning?
No, I was not aware.
The Myrtle Beach trip, you knew she was going to Myrtle Beach, right?
Yes.
And you believe that she went there alone?
Yes. In the beginning, yes.
All right. Is that what she told you?
Yes.
And why did she tell you that she was going?
She was going because that was where Fabio would have wanted to spend his 50th birthday, and he had planned to go there with his friends, and so she wanted to go there for him.
Wasn't his 50th birthday planned in Pebble Beach?
As far as I knew, it was always South Carolina, but I
So you don't know anything about a 50th birthday party that was planned in Pebble Beach? Monica never told you that?
I thought it was always Myrtle Beach.
All right. Is that what she told you?
Yes.
Did she tell you that her boyfriend, Rob Baker, is from that area?
No, I didn't know.
Did she
didn't
tell
tell
you
me
that-
anything about Robert Baker.
Did she tell you that she was going to Myrtle Beach with her boyfriend, Rob Baker?
No.
Did she tell you that she was going there and going to attend a bike week?
No.
So when she's in Myrtle Beach, you began texting her, is that correct?
Yes.
And why were you texting her? What were you texting her about?
I was very concerned. She was there alone. I thought it was weird that she wanted to be there alone because she never traveled alone before. But everybody seemed to be okay with it. I asked other people, don't you find it weird? And I asked my husband, he's like, no, makes perfect sense. You know, she wants to do something on her own and just think of Fabio, and that made sense to me. But at some point during our conversations on the phone, I got the distinct impression she wasn't alone.
What gave you that impression?
I don't remember exactly, just the way she was answering me. And then I think I questioned her, are you with somebody there? Is somebody with you? I know you're not alone. And then she just stopped answering my texts.
And if I may mark, it's 5 pages. If I may mark, it's People's 274. It's text messages between the defendant and Anna beginning on June 27th, 2017.
Yes.
All right, starting here.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Yeah, just.
May. Sorry, May 27th. I said it wrong. May 27th, 2017. Yeah. Is that your text to her then?
Yes.
Hi, how's it going? What are you doing?
Yes.
And is this when she's in Myrtle Beach?
I would assume so, yes, from what I remember.
Okay, so she says, good, really hot, I'm at the beach. You have some small talk, right?
Yes.
And then it looks like she sends you some pictures of possibly a beach. Do you remember that?
Yes.
All right. And then your text goes on. She's talking about the food there. And again, you think she's alone at this point. Is that right?
It's blurry.
Just wait a second. All right. You think she's at alone at this point.
Yes. I said go to a fancy restaurant, yes.
All right. And then there's some more texts. You want her to call you.
Correct.
And that's on 5/28 the next day. Now, were you talking to her on the phone when she was in Myrtle Beach?
I talked to her a few times on the phone, yes. I remember that.
And she never told you she was with anyone?
No.
And then as you go into then, you appear to be getting frustrated. On 5/28 at 8:21 at night, I don't understand, Monica. I know you're not there alone, so why don't you just tell me your sister, your best friend? At least I thought, who are you with? Is this when you start questioning if she's telling you the truth?
This is when I started questioning if she was there alone, yes.
and you go on, what is the big secret? And you send multiple texts, correct, asking about that.
Correct.
And then Monica responds to you, by myself, I don't have to lie, I can do what and when I please without explanation. That's her response to you?
Yes.
But that actually was a lie, she was with somebody,
Apparently, yes.
right? You get more frustrated, you have several more texts with her then during this time frame, wait for it to not be blurry. Let me turn the page to the right. Is it fair that you're getting upset now by her response? You say that's bullshit.
Yes.
Monica says you don't have to understand, no one does, it's not for anyone but me, and tells you good night. Your texts continue. At this point, are you calling her?
I think I tried calling her and she wasn't answering,
All right.
but I really don't remember.
So you then send multiple texts. I won't read them all, but you're basically frustrated. You're trying to get her to respond to you. You're asking her what's the secret. Are you with a guy? You just want to know.
Correct.
But she won't tell you.
No.
Counsel, let me interrupt you.
Let's take our morning recess for 15 minutes. The admonition applies. See Beckett.